The Lakers were completely emasculated. How emasculated was it for the pathetic Lakers on their home floor in Game 1 of a playoff series? Even Magic Johnson, by his standards, unloaded. Magic took to social media. Of course, he doesn't actually use social media. What he does is he calls someone who does know how to use social media, and then they put the message out verbatim. So he'll say, hey, all right, here's the deal. It's kind of like in court. You know, have that person with the typewriter, they're typing out everything right there. Magic calls someone up and they type it all out. So Magic ripped into the Lakers there. They were the only home team to lose on Saturday in the playoffs, and they ended up losing that game by 20-something points. But Magic said it was one of the Lakers' worst performances this season. Well, that's a bold take. Nobody else has that take. He said they were flat, they had no energy, and they played like it was a regular season game. Well, actually, if they played like a regular season game, they would have won because that's usually what they did in the regular season. But wait, there's more. Magic also took shots at podcaster J.J. Redick, who's pretending to be a basketball coach. Where's all those basketball media guys that were licking Redick's toes now after that game? That's my commentary, not Magic's. Magic said Coach J.J. Redick did a great job all season, but he didn't do a good job in Game 1. Oh, that's harsh. Magic wrote, the Lakers stood around on offense, played too much one-on-one basketball, and he, meaning Redick, did not make any necessary adjustments. All right, let us discuss. The question, how much trouble are the Luka Doncic Lakers in after Game 1 of the playoffs? So I've got 1990s rock, monster truck, and torts. Not torta, torts. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a giant cookie. There's a box full of giant cookies. This is a lemon. We're going to make a lemon cake cookie because that looks really good. All right, so number one. Can I get a number? Number one. Yeah. Maller scale of concern, which is the measurement that matters more than all other measurements. Now, it goes 1 to 10, the Maller scale of concern. And I'm not going to sit here and be some kind of shock jock and say it's like 1,000. I'm not going to do that. But on the Maller scale of concern, 1 to 10, with 10 being you're cooked. You're cooked. 7.5. 7.5 for the Lakers on the Maller scale of concern. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. 7.5. 7.5 for the Lakers. You've already lost home court. Check. All right. Minnesota set the mood. It was like a nice candlelight dinner. And they enjoyed themselves in your own arena there. For all the hype, all the buildup, everything. You went out there and you piddled down your leg is what you did. You were flaccid. And the whole world saw it. The whole world saw it. Right? It was a surgical takedown. You should have stopped the game when it was 6-0. After that, all downhill. All downhill. And it did appear. Now, maybe this is just my interpretation. What do I know? It looked like Minnesota was playing at a different speed. It's like the varsity versus the junior varsity. Minnesota was just quicker. They were all over the place, and it appeared they had like extra players on the court at certain points. Like it's like they're just moving around, and the yin and the yang, it was poetry in motion to watch that. And then you had LeBron James out there lumbering around. He took 18 shots to get 19 points. Now, I didn't play in the NBA, but that blows. 18 shots to get 19 points. And the combo of LeBron and Luka turned the ball over 9 times combined. And that was really one of the stories here, the points off turnovers, giving Minnesota easy opportunities. But all those pointing out that Luka Doncic, his first playoff game here, his kryptonite, when we talked about this during the course of the season, well, the Lakers are not a very good defensive team. Everything's fine. They won, I think, 20 of 24 at one point. But here we are, playoff game, Game 1, and all of those critiques that you said, you're just being a hater. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. It's like 1990s rock out there, Limp Bizkit. They were limp. Out there on the court. And the most staggering of all statistics, Minnesota was 21 of 42 on three-point shots in game one. So, well, it's not that great. I mean, they shot well, but 50%. But when you dig even deeper, the nerds, listen to the nerds. So the nerds broke it down. Of the 42 three-point shots that Minnesota attempted, how many of them were classified as wide-open shots? You got to guess? How about 27 of the 42? Wide open, meaning the only thing that will likely stop that shot from going in is the air conditioning in the gymnasium. There's no defender in sight. It's you versus the rim. Man versus rim. 27 wide open three-point shots. Wide open. A professional basketball team allowed another team to have 27 wide open shots. All right, well, so that's a lot. Okay, right. How many were classified as open? How about 15 classified as wide open? So you do the math on that. That gets you to 42. That means that there was not a single three-point attempt that Minnesota took that came against a tight defensive presence by the Lakers. This is what we were talking about. They blow, they're done. They are so screwed, the Lakers. Oh, my God, that is a stagnation situation. Horrible, 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 horrible. And the Lakers were playing 8-on-5. They had the referees yet again, as they always do, right? The NBA always looks out for the Lakers. And that couldn't even help. It was 8-on-5. Minnesota won a game 8-on-5. 8-on-5. Unbelievable. Outside of taking the fouls, late, garbage time, game over, Minnesota was whistled for 21 personal fouls. The Lakers had 6. A plus 15 foul advantage, and a team got blown out in their own gym. How much? The Lakers suck so much more. I mean, I can't put into words how bad this team is right now. Horrible. All right, now page 2. I will address the Komodo dragon in the room in the Mile High City, the Denver Nuggets, who barely came back, had to go to overtime. The Nuggets suck so much, they couldn't even get a shot up at the end of regulation. They could have won it in regulation. They're so inept, the Nuggets, they couldn't get a shot up at the end of regulation. But in the end, they did pull it out in overtime. I mean, it really wasn't a case where the Nuggets played all that well. We'll get to that in a second. But the Nuggets, some people pointing out, well, Russell Westbrook hit a big three-point shot. And, of course, I guess they overlooked the fact that he didn't even get a shot up at the end of regulation and all that. But would you mind sharing your point of view on the Kawhi Leonard Clippers vibe as they lose game one on the road in Denver? So, surprisingly, the Clippers are actually in much better shape than the Lakers are. For multiple reasons. I can break this down for you. I don't know if you know ball or not, but I know ball, and we can break this down. But if you think that the one thing here the Clippers did, and the Nuggets didn't really beat them, the Clippers beat themselves. And when you beat yourself, that's easy to clean up. It's not like the Lakers cannot think they're in good shape because Minnesota just clocked them, right? The Timberwolves looked like they were playing a different sport than the Lakers. The Clippers, the Nuggets aren't even that good. It was because of self-inflicted. They did the old Plaxico Burress thing here. They stopped driving the monster truck. They were driving the monster truck, the gravedigger. They dug their own grave in this game, and it wasn't because of great Denver defense. If you know ball, you know that. The Clippers gave the game away. And just don't give the game away. You'll win. You're better than the Nuggets. Everyone knows that. You're better than the Nuggets. They're going to win the next game. Denver outscored the People's team by plus 20 because of Clipper mistakes, Clipper turnovers. Kawhi Leonard had an egregious mistake late in this game, but 7 turnovers by him. He hasn't had that many in 4 years, which is probably like 7 games because he doesn't play that much. But you take away the fact that the Clippers were 18 points better head on, meaning not points off turnover. Straight up, without with the self-inflicted mistakes by the Clippers outscored the Nuggets by 18 points. Holy crap, they suck. The Nuggets blow. Plus 18, belly to belly, shoulder to shoulder, face to face. And as for Russell Westbrook, let Russ cook, as they say in the NFL. I know this is basketball. But that's the guy you want. You want Russell Westbrook. You leave him wide open. And if this guy makes more shots at the end of games, fine. The guy sucks. And everyone knows it. He's not a clutch player. Russell Westbrook, if he beats you, that's all right. He is the worst volume three-point shooter in NBA history, Russell Westbrook. And it's really not close. We saw him fail to even get a shot up at the end of regulation. And we'll see how this goes. But love the Clips. Bet your mortgage. Bet your mortgage. Clips coming back. Game 2. That'll be going to the Clips. Now, final point. To New York we go, where Jalen Brunson scored 34 points, and he was hobbling. Oh, the drama. These guys are all thespians. Oh, my leg's going to fall off. My arm's going to fall off. Jalen Brunson had 34 points. Cam Payne had 11 of his 14 in the fourth quarter. The Knickerbockers storm back. Down. Big. They come back 21-0 run. How do you do? 21-0 run. And they rally, get an 11-point win at the Mecca there. The crowd forming a mosh pit in Manhattan after the game. The long-suffering Knick fans do not know that it's only the first round of the playoffs. Rather embarrassing. But there you go. So first round, the Pistons, their NBA record losing streak goes on and on and on now. At 15 games in a row, the Pistons have lost in the playoffs. Last time they won a playoff game was 17 years ago, Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals in 2008. So it's been a minute since the Pistons won. Now, there are factions of the basketball media that have to write these nice little stories on these pay websites, and the general theme is that the reason the Pistons lost that game was because of inexperience, that they're not a experienced playoff team, and that's why they lost the game. And that is, to that I say, nonsense. Did Cade Cunningham and the Pistons lose because they lacked playoff experience? I say, phooey is what I say. Phooey, 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 phooey is what I say. Absolutely not. Detroit, what they did here, it had nothing to do with experience or any of that stuff. They pulled the torch, not a torta. They pulled the torch. They sucked from head to toe in the fourth quarter of that game. But it wasn't because the Knicks were this amazing lockdown team. It was not because of a lack of experience. The Knicks don't have that much experience either. What do we do? Not success. When I think of Karl Anthony Towns from his days in Minnesota, I think of him flopping around the court as a loser in many big situations where he vanished, for example. And Detroit, one of the players that was the worst of the worst, the most egregious for the Pistons, was Tobias Harris, who had a big first half. You saw the game, and then did almost nothing after that. And that guy's played in over 60 playoff games. So what's his excuse when he rode the vomit comet at the end of that game? So we'll see what happens in that. But the Knicks, 21-0 run, just don't check out for 6-7 minutes, and you're in fighting shape there. All right.